streets are your office. Go to work.
All right, all right. Hey, welcome to Now Nation. We've got Pipes in the house.
What's up, guys? Long time no see, TD and Randy and Don. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. So Now Nation is where aligned leaders grow faster with combined strengths, experiences, and vision. And we bring in different leaders, big badass legends to bring in lead generation technology systems to give us hope and systems that work. And I'm co-hosting with Russ. Are you there, Russ? Okay, well, let's just jump right in. We've got Bill Pipes. Man, I'm glad we could get on your calendar. Could you share a little bit about your legendary self, your legendary experience, and what you're going to share with us today?
Oh, TD, first and foremost, brother, it's good to see you. And it hasn't been, I would love to say that getting into my calendar has been because I've been so busy, but unfortunately, I don't think you knew this. You can appreciate this, but I had knee surgery just a couple of weeks ago. And so, for anyone how many of you guys are like super driven, highly motivated, don't like being stuck, like this, Don, has been driving me absolutely crazy. So I've been so looking forward to getting a chance to actually come and spend some time with you guys. And, background in history, 31 years now, like going on 32 years inside the space of real estate. I have had the chance to have my own team, have my, my independent Realty World franchise, had a mortgage company, have had some of the best mentors. And that's the thing that I'm literally that I look at that I'm the most excited about is being able to really have codified and to be able to look at from whether it was Mike Ferry when I was in my 20s and my 30s, or it was John Cheplack for the time that I got to spend some time with him, and help him, work inside that business, or even Tom Ferry, right? I got the chance to really start to see what works and doesn't work, TD. And Tom, I look at TD. Tom and I worked together for what, like 3 years, brother?
Yeah, 3 years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my hair was on fire the whole time.
That's right. Yeah, the team was producing the entire time. And then obviously Mr. Randy Bird, the Birdman, the infamous Birdman, having the chance to be able to actually work with him both at Tom Ferry and post Tom Ferry. And guys, through all of the time that I've had, those 31 years, both personal experience and then coaching some of the best agents and leaders in North America, some of the top real trends, I got really clear on something. And what I got clear on is just a vision that I actually had, Randy, and that was this. That I think if someone's going to be in the game of real estate, if they're going to be playing the game of real estate, they need to actually have the intent and the focus of earning $1 million. How many of you guys would agree with me on that? With a system, with a process, with a strategy to ultimately be able to do it. If you're going to make the sacrifices, if you're going to take the time, why would you not be going for 7 figures? And for most of us in North America right now, earning 7 figures can be 50 deals, 60 deals, 70 deals, right? I can remember, Randy, being with Mike Ferry, and we had posters up, Don, that said, think 6 back in the 90s, like think 6 figures. Now we're thinking 6 a month, you know what I mean? And so I've spent these 31 years, both through personal experience and the mentors that poured into me, coming up with a proven system that if someone follows it, our data shows they can break. And if they're at who our avatar is, who we love to work with is that person that's already sort of a badass. And you guys, as we start today, I need you to point at yourself and go, Coach, you're talking to me. I am that badass on the count of 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Yo, Coach, you're talking to me. I am that badass. We typically find who our avatar and who comes to us is that man or that woman that's already earning $100, $150, $200, $250,000, and they say, we want to go to $1 million. What do we need to do? How do we scale? How do we grow? And, when we grab that person, it typically takes us, Don, about 27 months. right? That's our number. That within 27 months, if they follow the system, they follow the protocol, they do what it is that we're asking them to do, they surrender to the system in the process, which isn't always easy, that within 2.5 years-ish, they're breaking that seven-figure mark, right? And so what I want to share with you guys today is, now, does everyone get there? No, because some dumbasses don't follow the system, right? Like they go, yes, I want it. And they're not dumbasses. They're just normal human beings, but I jokingly, call them that, so today what I want to do, TD, Tom, wherever you are, brother, right? All I want to do is share with you exactly some of the key pathways to be able to do that for yourself. And if you're already earning 7, the game becomes this, Randy, add 7 more. Does that make sense? If you're
Hey,
at
Bill.
7.
Bill, can I say one thing?
Yeah,
I
please.
want to acknowledge you, brother, because we were together when you came up with G3. We were together when you came up with your slogan and what your laser focus was going to be, which was 7-figure, moving people to a 7-figure business. That was what, 6 years ago now? When did you start G3?
So we're only 4 years, believe it or not.
Okay, 4 years. So 4
yeah,
years ago, but you had a laser focus. It wasn't like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to help these people. It was like, I have one avatar. We're going to make this person go from here to there. And you've done such an amazing job at that. I've watched it from afar. I've watched it up close. And man, everything, every message you have, everything you do, your systems and processes, everything's geared towards one thing. That's my big takeaway from this.
Yeah.
Right? You've had one focus.
We know who we're for. We know what we
Amen.
want to produce. We know who we're for. We know who we're not for, guys, because
Correct.
a lot of success is knowing who you're not for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to determine who you are for, because we're not for everyone. You know what I mean? We're not for the new agent. And we're not for the person that wants to do TikTok and shit like that and be able to actually find new, unique ways not to do the fundamentals. We're fundamentally based. And I will say this as we get started, Matt. And Matthew, we've been around each other a long time as well, too. What I'll say is this: what you're going to learn today and get reinforced are some fundamentals. You're also going to get some new components. Hey, TD, maybe I'll come back at a future date and I'll talk AI, because we've really started to lean into that as well too. But I think AI can be and this is one of the key pieces as we start today. And I just want you to write this down. The best businesses, and I like the best businesses that I've seen that are duplicatable and predictable. The best businesses are prospecting, skill, and discipline based. You got 3 components. They're people prospect. They're still on the phone. They're still doing 1, 2, 3. Very few people still doing 3 hours. But Courtney, 2 hours is what we see as the standard inside of our organization for the 7-figure earners. They're still taking time every single day to build their skills, even if they're already good. They're like a great athlete that's keeping that act sharp. So they're prospecting, skill, and discipline based. They're sticking to the fundamental disciplines, the standards that they have for themselves. That's the basis. But on top of that, they're marketing, tech, and AI enhanced. They're marketing, tech, and AI enhanced. You cannot escape that you got to market. You got to get your brand out. You got to drive leads. You cannot escape that tech is a key component. I remember back, no joke, guys, selling real estate in the 1990s. Okay. I'm 54 years old in a couple of weeks, right? And I remember my lead follow-up system was recipe boxes and 3x5 cards with a 1 through 31, Clark, for my 30-day leads, and a January through December for my longer term leads. Well, that's no longer the case. Now we got FUB, we got, Brevity, you've got all types of things. You've got to be able to understand the technology, and especially now with the advent of AI beginning to lean a little bit into that. So as we get started here today, I want you to that's what I've seen. Right? Now, are there other individuals that don't follow those parameters? Sure. And they're running really thin margins of 8, 9, 10% on their businesses, right? And you know what's sort of crazy to me, Yoakum, is we put all these people on stage. I won't say we do. I've noticed people getting put on stage. And literally, guys, They're doing a lot of business, but they're better off if they would get rid of their team and they would just sell real estate individually on their own. How many of you guys know some individuals like that where you're just like, yeah, let's really get under the hood and see how much you're keeping? Because for me, TD, Tom, it's all about margins. It's all about what I'm keeping. It's all about what it is that my agents are keeping as well too. So we're always running at that 25 to 40% is what we want to see for our larger $1 million producers, right? And where they're keeping, on $1 million, they're keeping about $300,000, $400,000, or more, depending upon their team. So sort of some basis and some foundations there. How many of you guys would love to have a business that scales, that grows, that you got really good thick margins, okay, right? And it's duplicatable and predictable. Would you guys love that? Regardless of the market, regardless of what's going on. Now let's get some clarity about this as well too, because I want you guys to see something. Let's go here. There we go. Can you guys see that? All right. I want to start with reality for you guys. Guys, I apologize. I want to stand up. If you see me getting antsy, it's because I can't do my normal stand up and whatever. But this is really interesting. Last year, you had 71% of the agent population that didn't even, Randy, sell a house. Is that bananas? And when you break it down based upon the actual agent count, that works out to be about 1,017,583 licensed agents didn't sell a single home last year. Not one, Matthew, zero. They paid their dues, did all the stuff that they need to do, and they produced absolutely nothing, okay? And for me, hey, Yoakum, I got an idea. I think there needs to be a new standard in NAR and real estate. If you don't sell a home, you lose your license. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, think about that. Get out of the way, make room for those individuals that truly run a business. Okay. Now,
by the way, Bill, when I owned all my KWs, I would attempt to get my team leaders to let the agents go that had not sold a home within 12 months. And I gave them a date and I said, you have until this date to limit the people on your roster to 10% that have not sold a home. Yeah. You have any idea how hard it was to get them to do that? Because they're under so much pressure from KW, from the corporate side, like, hey, we want numbers.
Bodies.
And I'm like, guys, they're just a little liability running around, a bunch of stray cats.
And what's crazy? You know what's crazy, Yoakum, is this. Amir, you would hope that number would have improved this year, but it hasn't. As of last week, I'm not sure if you guys saw the data, 84% this year of agents haven't sold a home so far. Yeah, Randy. 80, we went from 71 to 84. Well, coach, there's still time in this year. No, if they haven't done it yet, there's a good chance they're actually not. And guys, when I show this to you, this is what I want you and I invite you to experience. What an amazing opportunity we have right now in real estate if we're going to treat this like a business. Does that make total sense, guys? Give me a thumbs up or something along those lines, because really this opens up space, right? For us to be able to actually have an incredible year. Now, granted, we're 4 years, TD. This is 4 years in one of the most problematic low sales environment that we've ever seen. Numbers just came out last week on Market Watch. We were expecting 4.2 million sales this year. We're now dropping down to 4.09 million is what the projection is for home sales. And people can hear this and they go, oh my gosh, it's a bad market. It's not a bad market, right? And this is something I want you to write down. There's no such thing as a bad market, just a bad strategy or an inappropriate strategy for that market. Because someone out there is doing it right. Now, let's talk about doing it right. During the same time that all of this has been going on, we've had, our average seven-figure earner, 1.767. I want you to really understand that and understand that, since the time that Randy and I launched G3, we got 69 people that have crossed the $1 million mark. They average about 27 months. And we're also going to have about 200,000 agents leaving the business this year. Why? Because they're not selling anything. It's about 23 agents exit every single minute. That's 22% of all the current agents. For people like you that show up in calls like this, that are involved in organizations like what Tom and Russ and Randy and Don had put together, that just means this: there's more opportunity than there's ever been. if you're willing to actually treat this the right way, right, guys? Okay. So if we look at this, and I've always said this, I will kick Brent Gove's butt because I love him to death, right? This is one of Brent's favorite freaking quotes, and that sucker got it from me, right? So I used it at the P car, and he's like, "Oh, pipes, man, I love that." And I said, "Hey, the market's going to discipline those that will discipline themselves." Big shout out to Brent Gove. I love him to death. Probably one of my favorite people on the dang planet. But look at this. These are the projections right now, guys, right? Okay, before we get into some meat and potatoes. Here's the good news. 54 to 57 economists, Fannie Mae put this together. Most pessimistic of those economists, Tom, say that there's going to, over 3 years, 6.7% appreciation. Even with the market the way that it is, we're still seeing appreciation. Right? Okay. Middle of the road, say over the next 3 years, this year included, 17.6. That's not annualized. That's over the course of 3 years. And the most optimistic are coming in at 27.4. Again, what I want to pound into your head: opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Now, has it been a little rough? Has it been challenging? Hell yes. Why? Because about every 6 months, guess what happens? What's been happening, Randy, every 6 months? Tom, Don, Matt, any of you guys? Those are the only people I can see.
Correction.
It hasn't been correction. It's been reaction. Every 6 months, there's been either a localized or geopolitical event where the market has wanted to come back. Did you guys feel it in February? Matt, remember February? Oh, it started and people are like, here we go, yes. And then all of a sudden, Iran. Year ago, market wanted to come back in February. All of a sudden, what happened is tariffs. Market wanted to come back in the fall of last year. What happened? All of a sudden, government shutdown. We have had more curveballs thrown at this real estate market than we ever have in the longest period of time, period. And guess what? The shit's still strong. It's still moving forward, right? And for that reason, I believe we're sitting on an egg that needs to actually crack. We got a bull run that's coming ahead of us, right? But we've just got to get through the problematic times. How long will that last? Well, I have no crystal ball, but I'm going to tell you guys, we're in the hunt. We're nose down. You got to grind. You got to warrior up for at least another 6 months. Because even if we end this Iran conflict and the oil prices come back down, it took us a while to get into the woods. It's going to take us a while to get back out. Does that make total sense, guys? So this isn't some Pollyannish BS to you guys where I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to get so much better. No, it's going to get more challenging. We're going to have a really, really nose down grind, work your butt off type of fall, right? But that's great because those of us that are willing to do, right, and willing to execute on plans are going to have a lot more business. Hey, Tom, I know you. I know when you made most of your money. It was not in the freaking banging markets. It was in the challenging market, was it not?
100%. REOs and then Blackstone.
REO and Blackstone, right? Okay. And great skilled, disciplined agents love the more challenging market because it separates very clearly good from great. Now, I got, over the course of the last 31 years, Amir, I'm very clear on something. There's about 8 traits that make someone a 7-figure earner. Number 1, they have a high belief and they have a desire to win. They have a high belief and they have a desire to win. Okay. They just don't stop. You know, it's so interesting. I'm engaged to the most amazing, beautiful woman. Her name is Angie, right? You know, we're looking at a date next June. She's incredible. And just like with any relationship, Abir, we have our highs and lows. How many of you guys are in any type of a relationship right now? Have ever been in a relationship or know what one is? Yes? Okay, good, right? And Michael, here's the thing about great relationships, just like great businesses. And Angie and I were talking about this just this last week. You just don't stop and you keep moving forward. Does that make sense? Okay. That's what causes winners to win. And why? Because they have that high desire. They have something that they're playing for. They have something that matters. Does that make complete and total sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. And what I notice, Kelly, for the people that are 7-figure earners is that they don't stop because they're playing for a big game. And that big game isn't just more money, right? They have a different version of how they look at themselves. They relate to themselves differently. They have something big that they're playing for. Listen, this house I live in right now, there's no way I'm moving my lady in with the house that I bought with my ex-wife. Does that make sense, guys? That ain't gonna happen. That, like, no, I don't want to put her through that. I don't want to put myself through that. So I've got this big play to win because for me, I want 1,000 people over $1,000,000. That's when I'm going to quit. People say, when are you going to quit? I'm going to ride off into the sunset when we hit 1,000, right? Okay. And say, hey, my work is done. I've had an impact on a very large group of individuals, their families, the clients that they've worked with, etc. Right. But in the interim time, I got some stuff like we're getting a new house. Makes me play hard. Does that make sense? We're taking the family to this resort called X Karate. Has anyone heard of that? If I'm saying it correct, right? Down in Tulum. Russell, all of a sudden when I got the bill for what that is, I'm like, shit, we got to get to work. You know what I mean? So, because I was like, that's a car right there. Not a good one, but that's a damn car for the vacation. So you have this high desire to win, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's go to number 2. I want you guys to see this. We're going to get a chance to go through all these, but we'll get a chance to go through some of them. Number 2, they've developed world-class skills. There are new skills that you have to be able to create urgency in today's market. Maybe, Tom, I can come back, have a conversation with the group sometime in the future about this, but you never stop building your skills. You know what I mean? Steph Curry, right? I know where Tom lives, where Don is, where Randy is, right? Where some of you are. Steph Curry didn't go, we won 1 championship, so therefore I can stop shooting. Michael Jordan didn't say, hey, we got 5, so I'm going to pull back. They said, no, we got 1, and I need to build my skills to get 2, 3, or 4. Right? The greats keep indexing forward. That's why, guys, now throughout all of this, you're going to get little tidbits, right, of what the greats do, what the 7-figure earners do. That's why the 7-figure earners that we know, I would write this down, they spend a minimum of 15 minutes a day in some type of script, role play practice, or dialogue, attention. Which scripts are the best ones to use? Whichever ones you have that you don't have memorized. Those are the best ones. Mike Ferry's, Tom Ferry's, Bill Pipe's, freaking, the ones that you got at an event. I really don't care. Just get them down so you're a pro. Does that make total sense, guys? Okay. I am not attached to which ones you use. I'm attached to that you use them well. Number 3, they have unwavering standards, both time, mind, and energy. They're strategic. And we're going to talk about this today. They are only, Matthew, strategic in about 3 lead sources. When I say strategic, meaning they lean heavily into their marketing dollars on those, their strategy on those, right? And we're going to talk about that. And typically there's 3 of them. Here's the 3. You ready? Past clients and Sphere for repeat and referral business. With Literally Amir, about 47% of their business on average comes from that group. If you're getting less than that, it means you're probably leaving some money on the table. Number 2, they or their team consistently run open houses, but they run them in a certain format and a manner that causes them to be effective, where every 20 equals a deal. Not every 20 open houses, every 20 groups through. That's what I want you to look at as we calculate this. Every 20 groups through equals a deal. And number 3 is online leads. They're doing some type of online lead generation. Randy, on average, they're reinvesting about 6 to 10% of their top line revenue back into the company on marketing dollars. They're not going out. You know what the typical agent does, unfortunately? Typical agent makes a lot of money, has some fun, buys the new car, gets the clothes, and gets to the end of the year and they haven't invested in the most important thing. There's 2 things that you always want to invest in, and I want you to write this down. Number 1, always reinvest back into yourself, because your income will always grow to the extent that you do. And chances are...
I just want to make an explanation point on something you've said about scripts, because I think oftentimes when people hear role-playing scripts, they think cold calling. Mm-hmm. And 2 of the categories that you just referenced, clients, past clients, and sphere of influence, that's warm market, right? And I think what happens to people is because they know those folks, they enter those conversations casually instead of intentionally. They come with their hand out looking to establish rapport so they can ask for a referral. They don't come from a place of contribution. And so I think it's equally, maybe even more important to have a script for talking with your warm market. And we have taught, by the way, in our group, 4 different scripts for that type of call. But I would say the same thing about open houses. People take those too casually. You know, we should have a script and a strategy for everyone that walks in that door, not just for dealing with internet leads. So I just wanted to make that point that when you're talking about
100%.
practicing scripts,
Yeah.
let's make sure we're applying it in each of the contexts of our business.
See, when I call, and we'll talk about this here in a second, because, I think when you lean into the past clients in the sphere, you need to stay top of mind and in front of them at all times, right? And that, the old school 33 touch, although a great foundation, has now moved to 40 plus touches per year because of the noise and all the competition that you ultimately have, right? But see, part of that is getting on the phone 4 times a year with the people that it is that either have worked with you or that you're connected with. And when I hear a lot of these conversations, and I do, right? Or when we have them, either Maverick or Shiloh, or any of the wonderful AI technology. By the way, if you're going to role play, you don't need a human being anymore. Sorry, you guys, and that was always, Matthew, such a big challenge, because you're like, God, my role play partner didn't show up, or my role play partner's hungover, or my role play partner is bullshitting with me, Megan, and so now you can utilize AI. Remember, prospecting skill and discipline based, marketing, tech, and AI enhanced. I can now role play with AI, and it can tell me, am I asking for the appointment? Is my tonality appropriate? Which the feedback is invaluable, and you simply don't get that with a live human being. But see, because I hear these calls, and most of the time when someone's calling past clients, they're calling their sphere of influence, they sort of bullshit a little bit. What's up? What's going on? How are the kids, etc. And you would be amazed, Kelly, how many times someone gets off those calls without providing value. And here's what I've always said is, do not make the call if you're not going to provide value. Don't make the call to the lead. Don't make the call to the past clients. Don't just call to BS, call to be of value. And how do I be value? Hey, Matthew, it's Bill Pipes. How's the family? I saw on Instagram you guys just got back from Mexico. That's badass. How was that trip? I know
Amazing.
it was amazing. Very cool. What was your favorite part of it? If you
Well,
don't
we
mind me
went to
asking.
Xcaret and it was incredible.
Oh man, we're going there too. We'll have to touch base on that. But that's not the only reason for my call, right? Matthew,
Okay.
with the market doing what it's doing and the shifts that are taking place right now, I've had a lot of my past clients like yourself that I've worked with, right, call me
Yeah.
and say, Pipes, what's going on? So rather than waiting for you to reach out to me, I figured I'd be proactive and reach out to you and answer any questions you have, because I'm sure you have some. By the way, what questions do you have about what's been taking place and how it's impacting the market here locally in Salt Lake City?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of uncertain how the real estate market's going. We'd love to do something, but the interest rates we were promised were coming down in a year. It's been a year. They're still up. They're actually talking about going up. So I don't know, Bill. What are you seeing out there?
Well, you know what we're seeing, Matthew, is we're seeing the homes that are priced competitively are still selling in a pretty quick manner, right? Okay, and on top of that, we are seeing that the market has softened a little bit. In fact, inventory has increased. Now, this is where I got to know my shit, right, guys? I got to be able to say inventory has increased by about 15% here in Salt Lake City, right? Sales have dropped by about 5%, but we've seen home values, even in that market, in this market, increase by about 2.7% year over year. It's exciting to think that even in this problematic market, Matthew, prices are going up, correct?
Yeah, that is exciting.
So I'm sort of
Interesting.
curious, when was the last time that you guys got any type of evaluation on your home from a reliable source like me, a human being, versus something on Zillow or someplace else?
Oh yeah, no, we just kind of do it on our own online, and there's so many sources out there and so on.
I know, absolutely. Well, why don't we do this? And I really don't mind. And then I'm going to offer to be able to put together a market analysis, not because I want to sell them, but because I want to say, here's something that you can have that comes from me, et cetera, right? And then now I provided value. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then or I could say, when was the last time that you looked at, if I know that he's in a higher interest rate model, because there's still people above, 7.5, the last time that you talked to a lender, is there any type of services that you need, like landscaping? Every call I'm going to make, I want to make sure that I'm positioning myself, not just as, hey, I want to sell your home. It's, I want to help you out. Okay. I'm here as a resource for you. Then what's happened, guys, is think about this, right? Because see, I can do all the marketing. I can do the 12, direct mail pieces. By the way, if you don't know the 33 touch, then or the 40 something touch, shame on all of us for not doing our job. 12 direct mail pieces, right? You want to have on top of that 24 emails. You may want to write this down. 12 direct mail, 24 emails, one of which, Clark, has got to be a market update video that you're sending out via email. Now, Francie, I need all of us to point at ourselves and just simply say this. I look smoking hot on camera on the count of 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. I look smoking hot on camera, right? Okay. Because video is so powerful, especially to maintain that connection. And it's been said that a 2 to 4 minute video is the equivalent of a couple of 100,000 words of written content. Think about that for a second. Why would you not want to lean into that? 12 times a year, going out, educating them, positioning yourself as a reliable outlet, and resource. So I got those 12. I got 12 direct mail pieces. I can send this out to you guys. Would you like that? Yes or no? Like to actually give you examples, send it out to you, etc. Don, you said scripts. We got something that I'm going to promise you guys. I got 40 of the best new closes for this market. A close is nothing more than a way to be able to ask for an appointment or someone to move forward, right? Riddled with NLP, right? Specifically designed for this. Would you guys like that as well too, for us to send that out to you, right? I love it. Okay. And then it's up to you. I used to be, Matthew, like, these are the only scripts to use. Now, Scott, I'm like this. Here's all of these scripts. Choose the one that really you have a natural affinity to. They're all going to produce results for you, but I want you to be like a buffet. Any of you guys ever gone to a buffet in Vegas? And you're like, I'll take some shrimp, and I'll take some of these potatoes, and I'll take some of this. I want you to be able to actually scoop on what you like, right? Because all of them are going to work. Make sense? Okay. But in the end, now, by the way, that's 36. Think about that. 12 and 24 is 36, right? I'm already over that 33 now at this point. Okay. But what else am I going to do? I'm going to do 4, write this down for me, at least 4 client events per year. 4. Why? Lance, great way to connect with people. Now you can go as big as you want or as small as you want. And I'm a big advocate of start small to go big. Does that make sense, guys? Start small to go big. Maybe a little cocktail reception. I have a good buddy of mine. His name's Jimmy Rex. Back in my KW days, which I think a lot of us actually navigated out of. Back in my KW days, TD, I went to dinner with him actually just last week, and on Thursday of last week. And we were just sort of bullshitting. We're talking, and we were talking about his, he does a 4th of July party, right? And he now no longer sells, right? He was selling himself and a team of 3 were selling about 500 homes per year. Is that pretty badass? You know what I mean? Like, and dude was traveling around the world, right? If you ever get the chance, his name is Mr. Jimmy Rex on Instagram. Really, really great dude. Great guy to follow. And we're talking about his very first 4th of July event. I was there. There was 35 people there. Guess what he was doing? Running to all of the things with the punk, the little punk that you light everything with, and lighting them himself. He and his assistant, Chris, Michael, were just running. Fast forward to his last one that he did, they had over 6,000 people there, right? They had to actually have all of to be able to actually put everything on with the city and all the, the rights to be able to do it. He started small and over 15 years went big. It doesn't have to be something insanely huge. It's better to have it done. Now, here's the thing, Lance. The purpose of that event is not the event. The purpose of the event is to give yourself an excuse to call. Hey, Matthew, I'm giving you a call because I'm throwing this great event. I'd love for you and your wife to be there. Here's what it is. We've actually rented out a movie theater. We got the kids that are involved. It's the new Hooby Jooby movie, right? Okay. And we'd love for you guys to be able to come. We got limited seats. Would you like to come? Oh, Bill, we can't. Oh, I'm sorry that you guys can't make it. You're going to be back in Xcarat. Good for you. And congratulations, right? By the way, while I got you on the phone, what questions do you have about real estate? Right? Gives me the excuse in a non-salesy, confrontational manner to be able to actually do that. Okay. And so now look at that. 12, 24, that's 36, 4 client events. I'm at 40, right? And 4 calls, it's 44 touches. Does that make sense, guys? You do that and write down, you'll get a 10% return. 10%. 10% of that list is going to either turn over, refer you out, etc. So how is it that we get to, let's take a look at this. Boom. Come down here. Now, by the way, I just did all of this for you guys without the deck. So I apologize, but we'll send this deck out to you. 47%, about 470,000 for our typical agent is coming from their past clients and sphere. Obviously, I've got 3 tiers that we teach. Tier A are our gold clients, tier B are the white clients, and tier C are the gray. I'm going to lean heavier into my A and B tiers right here, right? Are people that know me, like me. I'm going to call them. They're going to actually be aware of me. These guys, I'm probably going to do the 46 times, and these guys, the 33. And these, I just may let technology actually run it, okay? There's the 4 events every single year that we talked about. And once a year, TD, I'm going to actually do, hey, Randy, do you remember this from the Tom Ferry days? I'm going to do a non-solicited CMA for them, right? Whether they want it or not. This is a game changer. And I love to do this, guys, by the way. I love to send this out on the anniversary date of their purchase, right? Congratulations, another year, wonderful investment. Here's how much your home's appreciated in value, right? I'm going to be giving you a call to answer any questions, right? I send that out. When I call them, I don't even make it a sales call. I'm like, did you get it? What do you think of the price, right? And then I'm going to ask them just a couple of key questions. Hey, I'm just sort of curious, what's that crazy price that would have you consider selling? And what are your plans with the house for the next 2 to 3 years? That's it. What's your plans for the next 2 to 3 years? And oh, by the way, what's that crazy price that would consider having you guys even entertain selling? And there's no pressure in that. What it does is it lets me know, and this is really critical, guys, it lets me know who's at play, who's maybe at play, and who's not at play. Does that make sense? Okay? In a manner that is contribution based. When you can get, and I want you guys, like, 2 things. When you can get, number 1, massive gratitude for everyone that you've worked with, like literally massive gratitude, and every call that you make and the opportunity, your whole energy shifts. But if you can also get from that massive gratitude, contribution, that your job, that sales is a game of contribution, not a game of closing. And I want you to write that down. It's a game of contribution, not a game of closing. And if I'm taking that, it changes my energy, it changes my tone, and it even changes my approach. Does that make sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. All that, you know what, Don, all that communication is the transference of energy between 2 human beings. People can feel your intent. They can feel where your head is. How many of you guys have ever had that with a salesperson before? Yes or no? Like where heaven forbid it was buying a car. It typically happens when you buy a car, right? You go to buy a car and you're like, oh my God, I want to burn my clothes after like that interaction with that person right there. Why? Because they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about their quota, their numbers, their income, themselves. Now, I want to rewind for a second because I skipped over something really important. By the way, I want to open this up. Any questions? I know I went fast on that, but you're going to get all of this condensed into like actionable items as well too. So like anyone want?
Bill, let's talk a little bit about mindset and confidence, especially in this market. I'll never forget in Cabo when you were on stage and you said, I want all of you to record why I'm a badass. So I did that. I recorded it. 50 reasons why I'm a badass. So I did that. Yeah. And then I put it in steroids and I used AI with the Sumo Song app. I put it in there and I listened to that thing. And, confidence is a game changer. So why do you encourage us to do that? And maybe you can share about.
So I'm so excited you brought that up because that's what I skipped over to tell you no bullshit. I'm like, I totally skipped over that part. You can be doing all the right things and executing but if you don't have a vision of yourself that supports where you're going, it will always hold you back. Okay. And I have had the privilege of being around multiple billionaires over the course of the last couple of years. Hold on one second. Let me go back here. There it is. See, I skipped over this right here. I call it the CEO identity. The identity that makes Hiram everything else possible. When I was leading a seminar, and I was talking about people going to seven figures, right? How many of you believe you can do this? And I started the seminar off with that. And I watched something in the room, Lenny, when I said, how many believe that if you got really serious over the course of the next 30 months and really buckle down and had the right system, that if you did everything that you could earn seven figures, right? And I literally watched probably about 85 to 90% of the room do like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like the little, like obligatory, yes, I'm going to participate. But I knew, like watching that 55% of communication, which is their body language, they didn't have it. I got done. I took a break. Pavan Argawal, who owns a company called SunWest Mortgage Company, many of you may have heard of it, right? Just launched, or didn't just, but has been working inside of AI since the late 80s. And just his business, his company called Angel AI. It's pretty badass. You should check it out. Angel AI just got valued. It's a fintech company at 121, ready for it, $1 billion, right? When dudes like that, Courtney, talk to me, I'm like, hello, you know? And he said, Bill, here's the major challenge. You talk seven figures, but the people don't see themselves as that. So they never have the confidence to do the things at the level that they need to for a long period of time to be able to actually break into it. And I realized the first thing that needs to happen if you're going to actually have a breakthrough in relationship to your income is you got to change your version of self. Does that make sense? Because you will never outperform your vision of self. I want you to write that down. You'll never outperform your vision of self. Don, think about all the athletes, you know, that never get there because they can't see themselves on the podium or the platform. Good buddy of mine coaches lacrosse, high school lacrosse. His name's Matt Lane. I was talking to Matt, and he said, you know who goes on to play high-level lacrosse? I said, the most skilled. He goes, no. I go, the most disciplined. He goes, no. He goes, the people that believe that they can. Those are the ones that go on to play. So Megan, how the hell do we get there? Well, this will come out.
What's the identity that you're going to claim, right? Are
right
you a
here.
six-figure guy? Are you a seven? Are you going to be the best?
That's right. So, look, Michael Jordan knew he was going to be one of the best before he became the best. It actually drove him at a level to be able to practice. Okay, right? Yeah. If you look at Wemby, how many of you guys watched any of the finals? Wemby doesn't have it yet. He doesn't have that perception of self as a championship, leader. He may be a championship player. So here's the three pieces. Before the work is done, you work on the identity. Number one is this, and I've got an entire outline process to be able to use, even AI integration for you guys. The first thing that you've got to create is what I call, Tom, your seven-figure avatar. You've got to sit down and hear them go, okay. Because I believe, how many of you guys believe in be, do, have? That you have to start, you have to identify if I was already earning seven figures, who would I be? How would I dress? Where would I live? How would I walk? What would I think? What would I put in my mouth? What would I allow into my ears? Who would I be around? Right? What would my schedule be? Like, you've got to really take the moment and draw out who that character is. What makes him or her that person? In essence, DK, Don, you got the story, create the hero, the heroine inside the story. Because once you create that now, Matthew, becomes the litmus test to your daily actions and activities to be able to say, am I going to do this or not? What would that version of me do? I've got the be created. Now it's the do. And then you can watch. If you just stick to it, remember, the great relationships are just like great businesses. The people that win in both of those are the ones that just stick freaking to it, period. Does that make sense, guys? So for me, Tom, it was 25 mil bill. That's my litmus test, right? My company needs to generate $25 million a year in annual revenue. That is not just some random number. That establishes the number of clients that we need to have inside of our organization to have 10% of them going over $1 million every single year, right? And for me, within the course of the next 9 years, to be able to actually be done with the 1,000 people. That's why 25 mil is important. It wasn't just a number on a dartboard. And I said, if I was that person, what would he do? What would he eat? Whatever. I got an entire series of questions for you guys to work through. Now you got that, and you got, am I going to engage? Because here's the thing I want you guys to understand as well too. No and what you say no to is more important than yes and what you say yes to. What you choose to say no to is so important. Clients that you choose to say no to, situations you choose to say no to, even opportunities. My company is very clear. If it doesn't support that vision, it doesn't even get in front of me. But I had to take the time to be able to really analyze that, to be able to write it down. And I now have like a 3-page document that's 25 mil bill. Now, the second piece to that Tom was talking about, to be able to develop the confidence. Now, before I go to that, I am going to say something to you. Although this is great work on the head for confidence, Steph Curry could do all the affirmations that he wants. Michael Jordan could do all the rah-rah that he wants, but in the end, if you don't build your skill will grind down the confidence. Does that make sense? If you find yourself in situations where you don't know what to say on a presentation, there is no amount of affirmations that you can do that's going to overcome your lack of confidence. So if I want to build massive confidence, I'm going to lean into my skill building as much as I'm leaning into my mindset. Does that make sense, TD? Tom? I'm just not going to rely upon one. This is a holistic thing. Now, because success, someone asked me the other day, it's so interesting. They said, Pipes, why are you where you are? There's guys, 80% of the real estate coaching companies that were around in 2020 and 2021, anyone know where they are? Gone. You know what I mean? Shuttered. And I am the wonderful dumbass that decided to start my company at the beginning of the 4-year real estate recession. Yes, steel sharpens steel. Let's go, baby. You know what I mean? So, and we're still standing and we're still growing. Could we be growing faster? Absolutely. Would I love that? 100%. But the fact that growth is happening absolutely lights me up. And someone asked me, they said, Pipes, how have you done it? And here's what I told them, and I want you to write this down. I said, you got to be willing to fail more than other people even try. Like, that's why I am where I am. That's why Tom Days. That's why Brent is where he is. Oh man, Brent's done some events that are so amazing to be at that I talked to him afterwards. He's like, Pipes. Oh, that one stung, right? But you know what? He just keeps going and he's willing to actually learn from it. And go forward. How many of you guys can appreciate that? And you get your lessons that you need to have wrapped up, not in the beautiful bow and package, but in the poop burrito that you have to keep unraveling. So as that's going on, check it out. This is what I told Tom to do. You got to sit down and now say, I got to write out the 50 reasons I'm a badass. Everything that you've done in your life that you can remember. That really you go, I'm proud of that. I did that. That's who I am. I overcame that. That would have stopped others. No, I kept going when others stopped. And that becomes a tool. And when the proverbial caca hits the fan, and will it? The answer is hell yes. I was just on the phone this morning. By the way, at the end of the call today, I'm going to put up a QR code. That QR code is going to give you guys access to a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to give you guys all access for the next couple of weeks for $1, my G3 Nation, right? It's my, morning huddle, everything that I do. It completely aligns with who you guys are and what it is that you do. And you guys get a chance to really plug into that just to see what we're all about. Like now, some of you may have done it in the past, but we're evolving and changing. Number two, it's also going to give you the chance to be able to actually hop on for a mid-year biz dev call if you want to, right? We're going to make an offer. You can say yes or no with one of our actual coaches as well too, right? Because we believe that people that have coaches and invest in themselves always do a little bit better. It's not a sales call, it's not a sales pitch, it's a contribution-based play, just like what we're talking about. Okay. And it'll have then we'll send out the scripts and everything else. Sound good, guys? So when I put up the QR code, all you gotta do is bang, click, click, and then one of my 4 or 5 great salespeople will give you a call. You just need to talk to them. Now, I have learned more about myself in these last 4 years than I ever thought possible. And every time, and I was talking to my crew this morning, I said that success is a series of well-managed breakdowns, guys. That's what it is. It's just a series of well-managed breakdowns. And when the breakdown occurs, you now have a tool. That tool is this. I take out the 50 reasons I know I'm a badass, and I read that over. Does it take the sting away? No. The sting is there because it should sting. The sting gives you the lesson. The lesson gives you the opportunity to change and pivot. And the opportunity to change and pivot makes sure that you don't make the same mistake over and over again. Does that make sense? That for me is true failure. If you're making the same mistake over and over again, failure is that, right? Okay. That's one of the rules in our house. Hey, you can make a mistake, just don't make the same mistake twice. In fact, I don't even punish my kids, when they make a mistake, like their first time. Second time, watch out. Wrath of Coach Pipes is coming down on your ass. Yeah, you better believe it. But the first one is a freebie, right? But the second one is a choice. When it happens, take out that 50 reasons I know I'm a badass and lean into it. Now, you got those 2 pieces. Inside of what you're going to get is a outline on how to turn your avatar into affirmations. What Tom did, put it into a app that will actually turn it into here's who you are, and you can listen to it every single day, right? And then an outline on giving you the 50 reasons you're a badass and what to be able to do with that. So TD, this is it. And then every single day, you take that out in the morning and go, who am I going to be? Highest version of self, 25 mil bill, or normal me? Normal me will continue making the same income. 25 mil bill will get a little bit better. Does that answer your question, TD?
Oh, that was awesome. That's great. Well, we're just about out of time, so maybe you can bring it home.
I will bring it home. So, gosh, where do I want to go with you guys on this? One last thing here, guys. God, there's so much here. Right here. You guys have heard me say this before, and I haven't actually said this in a long time. All right. There's a formula, and I think it really speaks volumes to you guys being on this call here today. Hold on one second. I do want to give this to you so that you guys get a chance. There you go. If you guys will click on that right there, I'm going to give you the 40-page 7-figure playbook. It is here step by step, play by play, exactly how in the next 27 months to do that. The 24 closes for appointments, the 7-figure avatar worksheet, the easy CMA, the 10 additional appointment setting dialogues, this entire keynote deck, the opportunity to be able to get the G3 and the biz dev call with one of our coaches. So you just got to scan on that. I know some of you are actually driving, so please keep both hands on the wheel. All right. You guys get it? Wonderful. Yeah, we'd love for you guys to join us and about the other 510, 515 people that are involved in G3 right now. But here is, where did it go? There it is. This for me, and I haven't presented this piece in a long time, actually, come to think of it. Sort of interesting to me. This for me is probably one of the most important things that I've found over the last 31 years in success. I call it the Sophia equation. It's after my daughter. I actually spoke about it last time, Tom, that I probably was on stage, right? Probably the last time that I spoke about it. And it's B equals P plus E. That your behaviors, Matthew, are always going to be equal to the people that you're around and the environment that you're part of. As the market has gotten tougher, there's more and more people bitching, complaining, and moaning in real estate. Those people, like if I'm around someone and I'm not, here's my rule. I learned this from Mike Ferry. If I'm not laughing with them, if I'm not growing with them, if I'm not learning with them or from them, or we're not profiting together, what am I doing? Right? Like, what's going on? Why am I? No one knows. Actually, I'm going to share this with you guys. I haven't even told my obviously my C-suite team knows this, but I had this surgery, and about a week and a half ago, I woke up on a Monday, felt pretty good, had my L10 call, my leadership call with all of my C-suite, and they looked at me and they said to me, Scott, you don't look too good. And I'm like, thank you very much, right? They're like, no, you look a little pale. And I'm like, okay. And about that time, I started getting a little lightheaded. I had some shortness of breath that was going on. And I said, I'm going to get off the call. They said, good idea. I got off the call and I went to just go lay down. And about that time, my fiance shows up or calls me. She's like, are you okay? My daughter comes running in from where she was. And she's like, hey, Dad, I'm just here to check on you. I'm like, what in the hell just happened? Fortunately, my director of operations had reached out to, my daughter and my fiance and said, you probably want to check on your dad, check on your fiance. So that night I fell asleep. And I woke up at about 4 o'clock. And when you sleep, guys, and you wake up and you're like, oh, I feel rested. I feel better, right? I woke up and I'm like, literally laid in my bed. I'm like, never had this thought. Am I gonna die here by myself? Like literally, like this is not how I meant to go out. So the next morning I got up. Anyway, cut the long story short, went into my surgeon because I didn't feel better the next day. He sent me over to the ER. ER ran some tests. They did a CT scan. I had a massive blood clot that broke loose from the surgery, hit my heart. Fortunately, they said, because they did an EKG, Doug, on my heart, they said, yeah, really strong heart. And they said it broke into four to five pulmonary embolisms that are inside of there. We're going to have to put you on blood thinner. And I was like, okay. Come to find out, when my surgeon finally talked to me, he goes, I go, was this a big deal? He goes, yeah, it's a 94 to 97% fatality in your case. And I'm like, oh, okay. It was at that moment, actually 2 days went by because I just said, I go, can I work when I get back from it? Because it was like 3 o'clock and I had to move coaching calls. They're like, no, like you're not working today. The next day, I just sort of threw myself into the business, had to deal with like shortness of breath and everything as my body's sort of going through. But it started to make me realize I'm not going to waste any time on people that I'm not going to grow with, that I'm not going to laugh with, that I'm not going to like learn from, that I'm going to profit with. Life is a serious gift. You know what I mean? And so when you have those moments, and hopefully you never have that moment, but I am not going to be in environments that don't cause me to grow, and I'm not going to be around people that hold me back. Your behaviors are equal to the people that you're around, that you choose to have in your life, and the environment you put yourself in. I've always respected Tom Daves, Don Yoakum, Bird, Zimmer, a lot of you guys that I've had the chance to be around. You guys are people that I would jump at the opportunity to say, cool, I got a little bit of time. I want to spend some time with them because I know that's going to happen. You guys are fortunate to be part of this group, and you're intelligent for choosing it, right? And now the game is, can you execute from these calls, whether it's me or anybody else, And that's the game, because what we don't need is a lot more information. We just need to get our asses to work. So, Tom.
Damn, that was a banger.
So get to work, everyone.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
Well, so, hey, guys, thanks for joining in. Next week, Randy Bird, what's cooking? I heard a rumor we've got Bird in the house, and he's bringing some heat.
Hey, thank you, Tom. Yeah, so next week, thank you, Bill. That was amazing, man. We love you. God bless, and I'm glad you're with us. Wow.
Dude, when I say alive, excited, and full of energy, which is my tagline, now when I say alive, it has one.
You're not effing around. Yeah, it's serious business.
Yeah, totally, bud.
Dude, you thank you for all you do, man. You touched us. But next week we're rocking and rolling. We're going to have Gogo in here. Gogo is a rock star in the EXP community. She's not in our organization. She's a giver. She's a person that wants to help us, and she's going to show us how she's grown her organization to be one of the fastest in the company. So be here, be square if you're not, and come here fired up, full of energy, and full of life. All right?
All right.
Bill.
Pipes, thanks again.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
y'all good for
Thanks,
inspiration. Put in a
Yeah.
perspiration. Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Wheels up.
Randy Bird.
Thanks, guys. See you.